Good morning, Year 11. So we are carrying on looking at tension today. So we're going to do a quick recap from what we looked at last lesson. I'd like for you now to tell me what is tension in English, how is tension seen between Mr. Burling and Eric Burling, and how may a modern day audience react to their relationship, please. I would give yourselves about 5 minutes for that activity. So then today we are going to look and begin to understand how tension is seen between the older and younger generation. So if you put your title down as that sentence, please, it's underneath learning. Our outcomes, we're going to be able to recall how tension can be seen between the different generations, to identify quotations that show tension between the different generations, and to explain why Priestley wanted to engineer tension between the generations. So our first activity now is just a list activity or a bit of a brainstorm, and we just want to recap really that difference between the younger and the older generation. So both generations react to Eva's death very, very differently, and I think that says a lot about society and a lot about this family. Your task then, can you list all the events that you can think of that show that there is tension between the younger and older generation? You don't have to do quotations for this bit, you can literally just brainstorm all the events that happen that show tension between the younger and the older generation. I would give yourselves roughly 10 minutes to do that, it might take you a little less. Right, now you have to really think. So I've done it as a table, you don't have to do it as a table if you don't want to, it's up to you. We need to be thinking about finding quotes now that show tension between these two generations. So what I would like you to do is find 3 quotations for each generation that show how they are vastly different to one another. So I want 3 quotations that tell us about the younger generation that contrast to the older generation. Okay. So one might be, these girls aren't cheap labour, they are people too, for younger generation. And then something that either Mr. Burling or Mrs. Burling say that's different to that. Okay, so when we talk about younger, we're on about Sheila and Eric. When we talk about older, we're on about Mr. Burling and Mrs. Burling. Okay, have a go. It is quite a difficult, time-consuming task to think of the quotations. Use revision guides. Okay, have a look around for those quotations, and then I will go over with you the quotations that I found. I would say 10 to 15 minutes for that activity. Depends how fast you are at finding quotes. Okay, these are the ones that I found, so I just want to talk to you about them. We have got younger generation. Eric says, why shouldn't they try for higher wages? Okay, surely everyone has the right for higher wages, surely everyone has the right to improve themselves, and this is what Eric is saying, is very forward thinking. Whereas Mr. Burling says lower costs, higher prices, which means if I pay the people that work for me less and sell the products for more money, Mr. Burling is going to make more profit. Okay, so again, you've got Eric saying, why can't these people try for more money? And Mr. Burling saying, no, I need to make more money, not the people that work for me. The other one, Sheila said, you mustn't try to build up some kind of wall between us and that girl. Okay, Sheila says, we need to accept that we're all in this together. We're all people, we're all human beings. We need to have that sort of humanity about us to respect and look after one another. It shouldn't be an us and them. Sheila is against that class divide. She doesn't think there should be an upper class, middle class divided and then the working class. She thinks we should all be in it together. This contrasts to Mr. Burling, who says you'd think everyone has to look after everybody else, as if we're all mixed up like bees in a hive, community and all that nonsense. A really lovely quote that you should really know from Mr. Burling. So you think everybody has to look after everybody else and community and all that nonsense. Okay, he believes there should be a wall between him and other people. He believes he should just have to look after himself. And lastly, we have this quotation from Eric. And I say the girl's dead and we all helped to kill her, and that's what matters. We all helped to kill her, that's what matters. Eric has come to terms with the fact that he helped kill Eva Smith and his family did, and that's really upsetting for Eric. Mrs. Burning, on the other hand, says, I accept no blame at all. I did nothing wrong by refusing her help when she came to me and she was pregnant. Again, that contrast. So your activity then, I want one quotation from each section, and I want you to explain how it shows tension, the audience may react, and why Priestley has used the quotation to create tension. Okay? How it shows tension, the audience. When you talk about the audience, you can give different views. I'm not very good at writing on this. Different views, you talk about younger and older generation. It is up to you. You can also talk about modern audiences and audiences at the time in 1945. Okay, that is your main task that needs to be done really nicely, because that will help you then progress and to understand tension a little bit further. Okay. Last but not least then, can you please make sure that you do the quiz that is on Show My Homework. There is only 3 questions. It will take you no time at all. But whiz through that quiz for me once you have finished today's lesson. I hope you all have a really lovely day, Year 11, and I hope to see you very soon.